Welcome back, piggies, to another episode of the Pigskin Pals podcast with your host, AJ. As you guys know, Dane is in Japan this week and next week. We were hoping to have a guest on the show this week. However, the scheduling just simply didn't match up. So hopefully next week we will have a guest host, and it won't just be me. However, I'm sure this week's episode will be just as fun with yours truly. One disclaimer I do have about this episode and the next episode is that Dane is our normal editor, but I will be taking over those editing powers this week and next week as he is in Japan. So if the video is a little bit different than normal, that's probably why, and it will go back to what you're used to in a couple weeks here when Dane takes the reins back. But without further ado, let's get stuck right into it. I gotcha. You thought I was going to be alone for this video, but in fact, I'm with my good friend Dak Prescott. As you see on the other side of the screen here, he's going to be throwing in some advice. Since I don't have a real-life guest host, my boy Dak's going to join me along the way. But as you can see, I finally caught a dub in DFS last week. But it wasn't because of a good lineup. Me and Dane both put up kind of dud lineups. And there were 5 people that joined this DFS contest this week. And we got 4th and 5th. So we did horrendously. Austin, his first one, came out on top. Absolutely incredible showing. But I finally got that dub. I was a little bit scared at the end when Dak was kneeling because the points didn't update. So I thought I was about to lose. But we got the dub. And we're going to take a look into the Week 12 DFS lineups and see if I can go on a hot streak moving forward. Now, normally we do like revealing piece by piece type of deal. It's a little bit harder to do when you're a one-man show, so I just went ahead and revealed our teams right off the get, and then I will simply talk about each position as we move down and give at least my thoughts on my strategy for this week. Dak may put some input here, especially on this first quarterback. Jalen Hurts is Dane's quarterback. I get where he's coming from here. Dallas in the past has been a defense to target. He's not exceptionally expensive. However, this Dallas defense, while it was against the Raiders, did show up a little bit more. Quinnen Williams looked good. DeMarvion Overshown looked good. Shamon Revel looked good in his limited snaps. So I feel pretty good about the defense moving forward. Although I do still think Jalen Hurts is a perfectly fine pick here, and I'm sure he's just doing it to hurt me and hurt my friend Dak over here. Moving on to myself, I went with Matthew Stafford. He has been on an absolute tear. Last week was a little bit slower for him, but I expect a bounce back week here for Stafford in prime time in what will likely be a high scoring matchup. I'm gonna do a little snake draft here though, and I'm gonna go to my running backs. I was looking for here just some consistent usage and guaranteed touches. And Breece Hall and Alvin Kamara are both cheaper running backs that do exactly that. And they both provide great PPR value, which this DraftKings is. Breece Hall with Tyrod Taylor probably gets a couple more dump offs. Alvin Kamara catches the ball a billion times anyway and touches it a billion times. So he might not be super efficient with it, but he'll get the touches. And with the rest of my lineup, that's kind of what I'm looking for is guaranteed touches. Dane's side, he's going to Jahmyr Gibbs. Great matchup, great player. Last time I believe he had Gibbs, he torched me. So it's a little bit scary to see him on the other side of the field. I do like this pick from Dane. Seems a little top heavy so far. We'll see how it continues. And then Emmanuel Wilson with Josh Jacobs, I believe, for sure not playing. I don't necessarily like this matchup. I get that this is a cheap guaranteed touches play here, and that Wilson has looked pretty good in these few games that he has gotten these touches. However, the matchup, I don't love it. So this is a place where I think I can maybe get some points and turn this into a victory for me. And looking at Dane's wide receiver core, we have Greg Dortch, crazy. This guy, I mean, I get it, needed to spend down somewhere, but I don't know if Greg Dortch was the guy to do it with. I understand Marvin Harrison's out, but Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, I feel like they're going to really handle all of that work there. George Pickens, fantastic pick, obviously with the reverse stack there with Jalen Hurts. Pickens has been absolutely outstanding. I think that's a fantastic pick. I don't remember pricing, but if he's less than CeeDee Lamb, pretty great value, seeing as he's been almost as good, if not a little better than CD since CD's been back. And then Devontae Smith, you want that stack with Hurts. I don't know how well this is going to go for him. Philly hasn't been that great on offense. They've been winning by their defense, so I'm hoping that maybe this can be something that works in my favor. I myself am not looking to run any Jalen Hurts stacks in any league, so we'll see if that works out for Dane. On my end, on the wide receivers, though, I have Puka. Spent up for Puka, which means I also had to spend down for some guys. But like I was saying, I was looking for guaranteed volume, and Puka gets guaranteed volume. It's a nice stack with Stafford, and then guaranteed volume with Breece Hall, Kamara. So then I paired 2 home run hitters in Mac Hollins and Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams has been looking absolutely fantastic. So I'm hoping that these home run hitters can complement my guaranteed volume guys well. And speaking of guaranteed volume, I continued that here. We haven't taken an elite tight end before on this channel, I don't believe. And Trey McBride is the epitome of elite tight end, so I spent up heavily for him. And Dane went with Colston Loveland, who has been quite good. He's been getting a lot better each week. He started off slow, but I think matchup is pretty good. Also, I think the weather's probably going to be a bit cold in Chicago. I'll be there for the game. Go Steelers. My wife's a Steelers fan. So I could see a little shorter passing game happening here, and I think Loveland could be a part of that as well. And then Dane's flex is Travion Henderson, who has been absolutely lights out. If Ramondre Stevenson comes back, I'm sure that they will split some time, but the split will be much more in favor of Henderson in comparison to what it was before Ramondre went out. So I think Henderson's a good play, even though it could be scary with Ramondre coming back. He will perform just fine. I think if you have him in your regular leagues, not just DFS, he's a great play. Keep him in the lineup. He'll be all right. And then my flex, obviously I spent up in a lot of places, especially tight end. That's going to kill your money. So I got Jalen Coker. He's been okay since he's come back. He had a touchdown last week. Bryce Young has looked pretty solid these past couple games, throwing for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Can't remember what it was last week. I expect they're going to have to throw this game as well, and hoping that Coker can get a couple catches, maybe get in the end zone. I'm not expecting him to perform super well. I'm hoping that my other guys can carry the team for me. Lastly, got my defense playing tonight, aka Thursday night. I'm recording this on Thursday. Thinking Davis Mills has had a couple good weeks, hoping that Buffalo can stymie that third week and probably final week of Davis Mills' starting career here in 2025 while C.J. Stroud has been out with concussion, and hoping just for a turnover or two and some sacks. Whereas Dane is going for the Saints at home, which I feel like has been a play of his like at least 4 times throughout this process. So Saints at home against Atlanta. Kirk playing, sacks could be coming in hot. I really like this play. I kind of wish I would have made this play. Thinking about it, this looks really nice. So I will give Dane a round of applause there for picking the Saints defense. I think that's a great pick for the value. Probably his best pick of the DFS. So that's it. I feel pretty good. I'm hoping that the Cowboys can stop the Eagles and help me onto a victory in DFS for the second week in a row. Let's move on to the picks for the week. In redraft, only one difference, that being Ethan and Parker. Everything else is the same. I believe Dane was one game. I believe I was one game ahead of Dane last week, actually, in redraft. So gained a game there. Hoping to gain a game here as well. We've got, I'll pull that up quickly for everyone. All right, Parker versus Ethan. Looks a little bit odd right now, considering Parker doesn't really have his guys in, which I believe is probably why I picked Ethan. I didn't even look at this matchup. I saw that match percentage. I said, give me Ethan. So let's take a look at who Parker can fill in. Parker's got Bo Nix. Looks like he will fill in with Daniel Jones. Not bad. He's missing a wide receiver, or technically a flex because he can move one of his receivers up. Missing two because Slayton's out as well. So that's probably going to be Kenneth Walker, and Gainwell probably would be my guess. Not too crazy, but not too bad. And then a kicker has to fill in. Whereas Ethan's got Love, Barkley, Warren, AJ Brown, Wandale, Brock, Juwan. Got a lot of starters. And Christian Watson, who's been up and coming as of the past couple games after injury. So I feel pretty good about Ethan still, even with actually looking at this for the first time. I don't think Parker's replacements are anything of note and shouldn't be a problem for Ethan moving forward here. Let's go back, just quick look at Dynasty picks. Looks like we are all the same. However, there is a really fun matchup this week, even though me and Dane are the same for it. Jake and Peter is basically like a battle for first place, second place type of deal. So figured we should take a quick look at that as well. So let's pull that one up here. Obviously, projecting to be a very close game. Jake's got Stafford. Obviously, I'm in love with Stafford this week. McCaffrey, Saquon, Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams, Kelsey, Henry, DJ, Geno. Like, we know Jake's team is good. It's a fact. Jake's team right now is fantastic. He's got guys who are going to win now. He's going to be a threat to win this entire thing this year. Whereas Peter's down a quarterback. Peter's running Kenny Gainwell. I don't know if that's a lack of better play. Looks to be the case. Whereas Kenneth Gainwell has been doing well anyway, so it's not that bad. But the rest of his lineup looking good. Bijan, Mahomes, Swift, Nico, Buka, Bowers. So if Bashal Tutin can continue his breakout, Kenneth Gainwell can have another game like last week. I think that Peter has a small chance, but I'm really going to put Jake in the driver's seat here for this week in Dynasty. But I'd like to see it be close. Other thing I'd like to note is it's a revenge game week against me. Quinshawn and Zay Flowers, who were part of the Justin Jefferson trade, are back and ready to ruin my season. I need a win bad. And if I don't get this win, I'm probably going to be fighting for that one of those last spots. So Quinshawn and Zay Flowers looking to destroy my season. Thought that was a little bit funny tidbit there as well. But that's what we got for the picks this week. And that is all that I have for you this week. That was the Week 12 preview. Let us know what you think about our picks in the comments. Let me know if you think Japan, Dane will beat me this week, or if I can go on a tear in DFS. And feel free to join using the link in the description. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.
Go out there.